And welcome inside the Backstage Pass. Always a great week when you've got a trifecta of shows today, too, as well. We're doing three shows back to back to back and some good names coming up here. We'll talk more about that throughout the broadcast today. Presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey and, of course, Honky Tonk, Texas. You can check us out at KKTC 999 True Country in Taos, New Mexico, and also hightidecountry.net, and powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com. We got three great shows coming up today. Leading us off today, I guess she loves to hit leadoff, no doubt about it when it comes to baseball. Dasha leading us off here on the show. Dasha, how you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Well, good to have you too. First of all, I like that hat too. Your fashion style,
You right?
Music City is there for Nashville, Tennessee too. Like so, looking forward to going
Yes.
back to that great town coming up at the end of February for Country Radio Seminar. Well, hey, I tell you what, for the listeners that don't know, I always love to feature brand new artists, at least brand new to them, out there across all the platforms. I love this single, Austin. It's really come on the scene. Came out November 17th, and I got a chance to really check it out. Thought it was a great fit for what we're doing here at the Backstage Pass. But first, I want to get to know you a little bit as far as growing up. What kind of music? Everybody kind of knows that moment where, like, music hit me in a lot of ways, and it pulled me into this, and it drug me in. Never thought you'd probably be doing it for a career. Some people said they did, but was it a concert? Was it family? What kind of drew you into music from a young age?
I actually always knew I was gonna do this. So I was
Okay.
one of those you're talking about. I guess I first got into it through musical theater. I was super
Hmm.
into doing musicals, and I got into it through dance. And so I kind of got addicted to being on stage and performing. And then I discovered songwriting when I started playing guitar and piano around age 8. And I
Hmm.
was just like through school, through my brother. He was in a rock band growing up, and I just got kind of curious about it, and I just started writing songs in the back of my like math notebooks in school. And my parents were the ones that noticed this, and they were like, "Go girl, keep going, keep going." And so I started playing like little coffee shop gigs and doing random little opener slots and whatever I could find. I was just so excited to play, and
Hmm.
so I've been doing the thing since I was about 10 years old.
When it comes to performing, seems like you're a natural fit. Tell me about your favorite part of just going on stage, entertaining a crowd.
I love telling stories, and
Hmm.
that's why I'm such a songwriter first, because it's just a way for your audience, for your listeners, for your fans to like drop into this other world and to really connect with you. And I think performing's the same way. It's all story, and what you wear, how you look, what you do on stage.
Hmm.
Like it all tells a different story, and all of that is so fascinating to me, and I'm obsessed with it. So
When
yeah.
when it comes to your style of writing, as far as those personal experiences or going through it, country music is so versatile now. When you've got the pop crossover and of course the traditional side, neo traditional side, and you got a little bit of just everything going on with country now, and of course a little bit of Americana kind of mixed in there too. What do you love most about writing and the process of it?
Oh, my favorite thing about writing is that feeling, and you don't know where it comes from. I've had songwriters tell me about it, and they're just like, I don't know where this feeling comes
Hmm.
from, but these ideas come in like an antenna, and you're in the studio, you're in your room, wherever you're writing, and it's just flowing through you, and it's like electric. It's the best feeling in the entire world when you know you have something amazing here. And I think that's what I love most about songwriting, and being able to share that feeling and, produce out the song so it's the best the song could sound. And it's just a fun journey. It's definitely stressful, and there's a lots of different opinions flying around all the time, but I would not trade doing this for the world. I think it's the best thing ever.
Now, so much talent's out there, Nashville now too. We've seen all these great ladies, make their mark too in
Yeah.
country music. And now you look at the Christmas Opry show we saw last week, and now there's so many things that go on out there too. Give me some kind of goals for 2024. I'll dive into the music here in a little bit, including the single Austin, but some goals and aspirations as we close 23 and venture into 24. What are you most looking forward to?
Yeah, I got a project dropping at the beginning of 2024. So,
Okay.
um, goal for that is to be my best streaming album, obviously. And I'd love to get on an opening tour early 2024, opening up for some
Hmm.
badass country act. That'd be so fun. Get on the road a little bit. Um, yeah, I mean, I'd really like to start taking all this new country stuff that I've been working on into different markets and into different
Hmm.
places and build the fan base and keep going, keep writing and writing a new project, even maybe even releasing another album next year.
Oh, looking forward to that too.
Yeah.
When it comes to those great artists you were listening to growing up, could it be any genre of music? Who was kind of like on your playlist, or what radio station? Who did it for you?
My top ones were Casey Musgraves,
Mm-hmm.
always. She like inspired me to get into songwriting. Avril Lavigne,
Mm-hmm.
Dolly Parton, and Taylor Swift.
Ooh,
Those were my magic four growing up.
a little variety of everything there. I love that too.
Yeah.
Let's dive into this latest single, which I mentioned November 17th, the Austin, it came out too. And you've got that picture, like I said, legs kind of right there too, with that black boot on, no doubt, with the cover of that single too. What kind of drew you to Austin? Give us a little backstory and how excited you were to get this single out to your fans.
So I wrote Austin back in June, I believe, and the second I wrote it, it was like this. It was a feeling I'm talking about. It was electric in the room,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew it was going to be really special. And that's actually the song that got me my distribution deal. Currently, it got me my new manager. That song has opened a lot of doors for me, and I actually wrote it on accident. I was in the
Really?
session. Yeah, I was in the session. We were writing this whole other sad song with the same chords under it,
Mm-hmm.
but just way slower. And it wasn't really feeling right to me. I wasn't really feeling connected to the song, but you just kind of got to push through those sessions sometimes. And we were writing, and then I was like, you guys, I need the chorus to feel more like country. Like, I just want more of like a
Mm-hmm.
beat to it. And the guitarist, Adam Windler, he goes, what about this? Kind of as a joke, and starts playing the super upbeat
Mm-hmm.
guitar of Austin. And I was like, oh yeah, here we go, ha ha ha, joking around. And then I actually freestyled the first two lines of
Mm-hmm.
the chorus. Did your boots stop working? Did your truck break down? And I was like, ha ha.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's like, wait, wait a second, can we back up? And we wrote the song in about an hour, super fast.
That's crazy. I love how that sometimes it is those chords or something that comes to mind, or instrumentation that really jogs the memory too. I got a chance to check out even Cowboys Cry, which I thought was one of those things out there too, because hey, look, I grew up, like I said, not being a full on out cowboy, but look, growing up in the country, you got to be sentimental. That's just kind of part of it too. So really, look, they say guys can't cry, but look, even cowboys do too, right?
Cowboys cry. Everybody cries. I know you can relate. Come on now.
Hey, we all can relate to that one. Tell us how this one got started. A little backstory.
I wrote that one. It was about this guy who I'd been seeing, and it was like kind of like the backstory of his life, and he had a super, super messed up childhood, and honestly, I just wrote the truth. That's what it is. I just wrote the truth, and I wrote it in my bedroom alone. And then I took it in to a session. We wrote the chorus, but then we ended up changing the chorus. My older brother Bardo, who I mentioned earlier, he and his bandmate Cole, they're in Beauty School Dropout, and they're like, no, we have this idea for it. And I had this line that Cowboys cry in there, and they're like, no, that needs to be the hook of the song. And so we just kind of messed around with the chorus a bit right before it came out. Actually, that was kind of a deadline cut right there. But I wrote the song and the verses by myself, just telling the truth about a situation.
That's all you can do when it comes to music is just tell the truth and let somebody feel something too as well. We got to take a break and kind of feel that with Bangtail Whiskey, our friends out there too, and also Honky Tonk Texas is going to come back, talk more to Dasha about Dirty Blonde, which was an album they put out here in 2023, and of course a few more tracks and singles they've released as of before the one Austin across all the digital platforms. Make sure you give her a like out there across social media and like us too. KKTC True Country 99.9 in Taos, New Mexico. Also hightidecountry.net and powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com, live on that very website as of right now, YouTube and everywhere you can find podcasts out there. Quick timeout for Bangtail Whiskey. Coming right back. More with Dasha on the Backstage Pass. Stay tuned.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And back here with Dasha on the show, the Backstage Pass, first of three. We've not done three shows in a while. Coming up here in a little bit, James Otto is going to drop by, and we'll talk about his new single, "That Spirit of Christmas." And then, if you love The Voice, you're going to love this because we got an exclusive. They're down to the 5 finalists there coming up there next week
Ooh.
on season 24 of The Voice. This girl named Jackie Rohr. She's actually pretty good out there, too. If you've never heard of her, too, she's actually in the top 5 and could win the competition coming up next week on NBC's The Voice, being coached by the great Reba McEntire. Can't wait to hear what her thoughts on that. And we'll talk about her goals going into 2024. All right, so Dash, tell me about Dirty Blonde. This was pretty cool. I got to check out a lot of cool songs off of this, and this showcases a lot of that personality, a little bit of that sass, a little bit of that attitude when it comes to music.
Yep,
too.
I'm a
And,
spicy gal.
you you are. Well, tell us all about this project, and again, just some great songs from your writing, from the song bank. January, you guys put it out, and hey, man, it's done real well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, Dirty Blonde was my first full-length album, 17 songs, and I worked for over 2 years on that album. Started writing it in Nashville in 2021, moved to LA, finished writing it, put it out. And it was just a different era for me, you know?
Mhm.
Like, I was a pop girly back then, and I loved it. And it was more sassy, and it was more LA, and it was just like me finding myself. That album kind of represents like my young 20s. I'm still 23, of course, but like
Mhm.
from 20 to 22, that's what that album represents very much. And since then, I feel like I've like gone through a lot of change, and like my styles changed. Like a
Mhm.
lot about my life has changed. I live in Nashville now, and I think like these albums of music are really reflective of like what my life is. And Dirty Blonde was just
Mhm.
my young 20s, and the reckless and the crazy sassy, and it was so fun. And
Mhm.
I'm glad you can hear that in the music.
You can too as well. There's also one on there too as well. I can't say on the air here because of radio regulations, but which is we'll talk about that in a little bit. But the one I did want to discuss was 7 Minutes in Heaven. I thought that was really cool because again, you kind of put that along the side of just a great kind of pop country kind of feel song. You mentioned that sass and attitude in it too as well, but it's just really great music. How did this one, the writing of this one, kind of start? 7 Minutes in Heaven.
Um, I wrote that one with my best friend Jules Paymer, who's also an artist, and
Mm-hmm.
that song was written during the most awful first love heartbreak I've ever been through. And I felt so helpless. And once again, I was just telling the truth. I was just saying what's
Mm-hmm.
up and exactly what was happening. And the concept of 7 minutes in heaven, I liked the idea um, of the innocence and the childlikeness that this person brought into my life that he felt like.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to kind of play on the idiom of like 7 minutes in heaven is like a game you play with your neighbors when you're like 8 years old, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
also in the bridge of that song, it's KISSING, and that's also another song you sang as a kid. And I
Mm-hmm.
mentioned Ringer on the Rosie, and it's just all those childhood games, and I loved kind of bringing the cleverness of that into it as like an undertone, because that's what it kind of felt like the end of my childhood.
Another one off there too that really struck like a chord with me too. That "Love Me Till August," and I thought that was one that I got to check out single, and of course on that record there. Talk about that one a little bit for us.
Oh, I love that song. Oh my gosh. I actually wrote that song over Zoom in
There you go.
quarantine, funny
Uh
enough.
huh.
Um, I was sent this guitar loop by Rutger. He goes by the Nicholas. He
Mm-hmm.
produced it and wrote it with me. And I actually ended up taking what he wrote, and I wrote it at the piano just at my mom's house during quarantine. And I
Mm-hmm.
didn't really think much of that song at first. But my management at the time was like, "Oh my god!" And that's like the first little TikTok moment I ever had was with that song as well. Um, yeah, it was just about like leaving for the leaving after summer and going back to your lives in fall. And like a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
especially in college, can relate to that. And I was
Mm-hmm.
going through that. All my friends were going through that, and it was just like the realest thing I could say at the time. And that's what came out.
I love it too. And I tell you, it showcases. There's one toward the bottom of it too. I believe it's song 16 on there too, if my memory is correct, of the 17, Olivia. And I thought this is one here that's really
Yes.
telling a story, almost kind of like that just good feel of something out there that was, about somebody or about the kind of a past or something like that? Kind of shed some light on that one for us a little bit.
Yeah, Olivia was about this girl I went to high school with. Her name wasn't Olivia, so I'm not spilling too much. Don't worry. But
she stays anonymous.
yeah. But it was just that feeling of like, I feel like a lot of women experience that. Actually, a lot of my mother's friends have reached out to me after I put that song out, saying that they really relate to that song because there's such this competitive nature that society pits women against each other, and men don't really experience that as much as women do, and it's really interesting. And that was like my first experience of like, whoa, I feel like I'm in competition with this woman, and it's all about beauty and looks and grace, and it was just like the most wild thing I'd ever experienced before. And it stuck with me. Like, I wrote that song like 3 years after I experienced that.
Wow, it's crazy.
And yeah.
And then you said it right there, going through it first and then being able to have a story to tell on the other side is what makes music so great out there too. I love that. Again, that single Austin.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said that's what's important. Is like being a songwriter artist, you got to go live. Like, you got to make some chaos. You got to go experience some stuff.
As I always say with country music too, as well. Even now, you always got to have that good drinking song, or the car broke down, and like I said, or a bad relationship gone bad, or something like that, because that explains what country music is all about. Because every artist out there has gone through some type of trials and tribulations in their life too. There was one off there too that I really enjoyed listening to, and it was "Wish That You Were Here." Let's talk about that one.
You're naming like all my favorite tracks of this album.
You know, hey, I get a chance to listen to a lot of music. That's why I host this show, and a way we get to listen to a lot of great music. Tough job, right? Listen to music and talk about it.
Poor thing. Yeah, Wish That You Were Here. Oh boy, that one. So my first love heartbreak that I mentioned earlier, his favorite song was Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd, right? And I was so upset and mad about that song. Once again, the whole song is just the truth, okay? I was just spilling the truth. But the reason that I made Wish That You Were Here the title is because I was trying to ruin his favorite song for him by making a song with a very similar title come up. So maybe if he ever searched that song up again on Spotify, my song would come up and it would ruin his day. And that is what my 20-year-old brain thought of when I started writing that song.
No, nothing wrong with that too when it came down to it. Because again, you got a great song out of it. At least I feel like you did. Another trial and tribulation out there telling stories too. Tell you what, we'll take our final time out. I'm not done going through her catalog of songs. You guys know me. I've been researching it to a T all the way down there, presented by Bangtail Whiskey and our friends at Honky Tonk Texas. Again, catch us tonight, 10 Mountain Time, KKTC, our syndicated stations out there, 99.9 True Country out there too, as well as listening to the app today. It's via the LMNOC broadcast app, and they played all the hits and all the great country radio today. I heard Luke Combs probably 3 or 4 times and some other great songs, but catch us tonight there, 10 Mountain Time, KKTC, and via the LMNOC streaming app, and of course out there, hightidecountry.net. Coming back, final segment with Dasha and Rapid Fire. Coming up here a little bit. We're going to get to know her more on the personal side here on the Backstage Pass. Stay tuned. Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Yeah, I want to drink now. Bangtail.com. Get it sent to your door. Mix it with your favorite cocktail. The holidays are coming up. Bangtail whiskey is everywhere now. Total Wine inspects the Nashville and Texas market, the Florida markets, and definitely take a swig. It's 90 proof, made corn mash, and is really, really good. I think I might have that drink tonight here again, thanks to our sponsor, Bangtail Whiskey, and our friends at Honky Tonk Texas, and one of my newest sponsors now. If you guys want to drive a Subaru, go get it. JK Subaru of Southeast Texas. Give them a call. too as well. They're getting us on the road this weekend for an event to cover up there. Subaru, if you have not owned a car like that, what are you waiting for? Go get one. That's what I can say. Used or brand new. JK Subaru, Southeast Texas. Back here with Dasha on the show. Leo, one song I want to talk to you about. We've gone through a catalog just a bunch, but my favorite town outside of Arizona is just north of there. And you actually just titled it, I think, beautifully well done. And this was September of last year, if I remember correctly. Vegas. Let's dive into Vegas a little bit.
Vegas, another favorite of mine. So Vegas was me having a crisis last year while I was still finishing up the album, the pop album, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was me having a crisis of like, why do I feel like I want to go back into my country roots? Why do I feel like I need to do this? And so that was me kind of exploring that and being like, yeah, this is it. This is great. We love it. Of course, it's like way more pop than all my other stuff now, but what's genre? Genre doesn't matter. But yeah,
No,
Vegas is I mean, it was just like this really fun made up story I made about like being so in love with someone and having the world against you, which I feel like a lot of people can relate to, and just wanting to get in a car, get the hell out of Dodge, you know? Just get in there and go. Just drive.
Just drive a little bit too. And then actually before Vegas came out, you had one called, and I got a chance to, it's probably another one of your favorites there too, but I thought it was a different feel for you. And I thought it was something that really expressed, again, that sass, that attitude out there too. And this was probably pre-country artist Dasha, but it was called Dramatic. Let's break that one down a little bit.
Oh, I love that one. That was like the epitome of my sass era. Oh my gosh. I was such a little menace running around LA. Yeah, I mean, there was just a lot of emotions to pull from at that time, and there always is. And I just really wanted to make a song that was super sassy and fun to sing and dance along to, that just, you know, it was cathartic almost, of like, yeah, I can be a little dramatic. So what? Who cares? You know, because I feel like a lot of people, especially females, can like relate to that. It's just fun to be dramatic sometime, and like no shame in the game. And that's what that song's about.
Like I said, I got a chance to play it, like I said, for some friends and family out there. They loved it too as well. They said, yeah, it really brings out her vocals and instrumentation and things like that. And has that little attitude part about it too as well. Hey, give us some of for the fans that may not know, every artist that goes into the music business, I mean, show business here and there, but the challenges that you face as a female artist, or just as an artist in general in the music industry. What are some of those challenges?
Oh my God. Well, first off, females are vastly unrepresented in this business. It's kind of crazy. It's like 2% are producers. 2% of producers are female, which is crazy. I can't remember the actual statistic for artists, so I'm not even going to give you something. But it is very interesting being in an industry where there's not a lot of women, but also it gives you a lane to shine. You know, if you're doing something different to get their attention, they'll turn their head faster. So I do like a challenge, and I do actually kind of appreciate that at times. The music business is very interesting. It's a lot on personal relationships, and it's a lot on networking and who you know. And honestly, a lot of it's luck, timing, luck. If your music fits in the right place, like there's always ebbs and flows and trends, and somehow if your truest self and your music just ends up aligning with what's going on, that's when you're going to have your moment. And it's very exhausting, but it's very rewarding, and I love my life very much, and I'm very grateful to be able to do this every day. So
on the same note, and good points there too, you see this trend now of the Ashley McBride, and speaking of just country, but I mean, Lainey Wilson, the ride she's been on, I talked to her here on this very show back in December 2020. And I was saying, you know, living out of her car and, you know, making trips there to Nashville, songwriter rounds, collaborations, these things where, you know, almost you can be, the stories almost bring tears to your eyes. But this female movement, I can't recall since probably the 90s, at least for me, because I grew up loving that 90s country sound, that this female movement is as strong as it's ever been right now.
Yeah, these girls are coming back. We're coming back strong. I feel like right now, especially in country music, it is so male dominated. It's actually insane. I feel like it's just audiences for some reason have preferred male vocals, and I'm not really sure why that is, but I feel like now with all these other females coming up in the country scene, It's switching around. It's coming around. And like, there's a lot of amazing country females that I am obsessed with and I love and very inspired by. So it's been really fun coming up with them by my side.
I love it. They're going stronger, and it's just going to get stronger as these years keep flying by, too. Hey, let's talk a little bit of a rapid fire here. So, Christmas traditions. I'll throw these at you, and if it takes a little thought, sometimes it's not so rapid. I just call it rapid fire for the segment.
Okay, do it.
But Christmas traditions, going back home, putting up the tree, lights, what kind of food? What do you guys like to do?
We would go to my mom's house. My parents are divorced, but my dad will come over on Christmas. And we have two traditions. One is my mom's an architect and she loves making gingerbread houses, but architecturally interesting from scratch. She's an incredible baker and an architect. So there you go. And the tradition is going into the driveway on Christmas Eve and smashing it with a hammer and taking a picture of us all screaming. Okay. Don't know where that came from.
That's cool.
But,
I love that. That's cool.
And the second tradition that we've started a few years ago, my dad has this van and he puts a speaker in the back and we put a microphone attached to the speaker and a bunch of Christmas lights, and we're all dressed up in like Christmas onesies, hats, whatever we want. And we go around Christmas caroling to our friends' houses, go knock on the door, they come out, and we put on a full-blown performance. But it's like a 2-3 minute song performance, and then we like are starting to drive away as the song's going, so there's no like mingling after. We're like in and out and we're out of there. It's pretty funny.
I love it too. Favorite holiday dish? What do you like to eat?
Stuffing.
All right.
Love stuffing. I made it like the other night just because I wanted it. I love stuffing. I don't know why.
First song ever to sing live on stage, and it could be a cover too.
It was Our Song by Taylor Swift at it was like my third grade talent show. I sang songs before that, but I don't remember which ones.
I like that.
Some
all right.
one.
This is a new one I came up with as a few days ago, but I love it just because I'm talking about The Voice and it's getting so much pub right now too through NBC season 24. I'm like, where'd 24 seasons go? Fan of those music shows? Not a fan? Do you pay a little attention to them? Maybe not.
I don't really pay a lot of attention to them, for being honest. I think it's a great way for people to get discovered, though. I think it's awesome. I don't know if I would want to go on it. I've been interested in it before, for sure. Maybe. I don't know. But I think they're sick. I think it's awesome. I love how it like it gives people like another opportunity to like have their moment. Like rock on, you know?
That's it. Yep. We got one of the finalists today, Jackie Rohr, coming up here in just a little bit too as well. She did a killer version. You want to check something out. I don't know if you were a Heart fan growing up, the band Heart, but the song Alone. Oh man.
I gotta check it out. Thanks for telling me.
And I love her last name, like Rohr. It's just ROAR. Just like she's badass. She's just so.
That's such a good name.
For an artist, I'm like Jackie Rohr, and now she's coming up here in an hour on the backstage pass here too as well. All right, favorite toppings on pizza for Dasha. What goes on it?
Pineapple, caramelized onion.
Really?
Yeah, those are my add-ons for sure.
Caramelized onion. I've never always something new here on the show.
I'm like such an onion girly. Like anything with onions, I'm in.
All right, we'll finish with this one. Favorite restaurants, because it's always plural in Nashville. Can't just pick one. Favorite spots in Nashville to eat and what kind of food?
Ooh, okay. Otaku ramen.
Okay.
I love Taqueria del Sol.
Okay.
Oh my God, there's so many good places. I love Hattie B's. I love a good hot chicken. And then my favorite coffee place is Portland Brew.
Portland Brew. I've got to try that one next time too. And actually, what's funny, you say Hattie B's. I got in line to get a sandwich on my next to last day after CRS last year, and I didn't get close to the window because somebody came by, noticed me, noticed the show, pulled me out of line. The time I walked back down the block, because we're going to try to go to a Preds game, I walked back down the block to get in line. Never got the sandwich. Never did. So
no.
Yeah, this time. Can't be as easily distracted of something going on or whatever, and think of somebody wanted me to chase somebody. They're like, "Oh, look, so and so's." I'm like, I don't do that kind of stuff. But
were you on 5th and Broadway?
I missed the sandwich. Yes, the 5th and Broad. Yes,
oh, right, yeah. That location's crazy. Don't even try.
It's a walk-up place out there, and I'm gonna go to the other location now and get
There
me
you
a sandwich too as well. Again, the single Austin across all the digital platforms, all the music we talked about today is available for download and purchase out there too. And give her a like on social media. Again, we're not done today. My voice can hold up for another couple of shows. James Otto coming by here in a little bit. He'll talk about his Christmas single, That Spirit of Christmas. And of course, we'll talk about, the big hit back in the day too that James had, no doubt. And Jackie Rohr from The Voice, one of the finalists out there too, coming up next week on NBC's The Voice, coached by the great Reba McEntire too as well. Can't wait to hear what she's got to say about that too here on the show about 5:30. Again, thanks to Dasha and her camp for starting us off today. We're off tomorrow and for the entire weekend going out of town. Thanks to our sponsors, JK Subaru, Honky Tonk Texas, and our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey. You're listening to 99.9 KKTC in Taos, New Mexico, and via the LMNOC streaming app. And our friends at HighTideCountry.net, powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com. And we'll have Dasha back in 2024. Hope you had a great time.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate you. Look forward to talk soon.
We're going to talk soon. No doubt about it, too, as well. We'll see you guys soon. Take care. Have a great night.
Bye, y'all.